Wine sat there on her office table, her hands holding her head, trying to cover her stupid blush appearing on her cheeks. Her mobile placed on the table in front of her. Texts from her husband kept popping out one after another. She groaned. It was nothing but cringe. That was the thing about Jungkook. He usually had such a dominated aura her colleagues were quite scared of. But only Wine knew how big of a flirt and cheesy man he was. And ladies and gentlemen, was how he kept her happy 24 hours a day, even now. Currently, he was comparing her with a strawberry cake he just baked and how it didn't smell as good as hers, in a very dramatic way. Wine covered her face. She swore if anyone saw his text, they would throw out. But it was all just too funny for her. She sent a glaring emoji and turned her phone upside down. Idiot, she muttered before looking up, only to realize she did a poor job hiding her blushed cheeks. Every single of her colleague was looking at her with a very teasing expression. Wine, get back to work, jeez. Mark, I really can't imagine your husband has the talent to make his wife blush like that. Sophia, it looks way too scary for that. Wine wondered if she let them see Jungkook's sex, how would they react? Would they faint? Wine, whatever, Lord, go back to work, I said. Stop crying. She stood up abruptly and rushed away, because if she stayed there, they would tease the hell out of her. Right in that moment, she received a call from Jungkook. Of course, he wasn't letting her breathe until she praised his strawberry cake for he freshly baked. She picked up the call, but before she could even bring it to her ear, she was called by Apoyan. You have been called by the CEO, Miss Wine. The man said. She put her phone back in her pocket forgetting to cut the call and went to the CEO's office. Upon knocking twice, she entered the room. Wine, you called for me, sir? Harry, I received a report on you. Wine squinted her eyes, stepping towards the table. He reached into his drawer and pulled out a file, one that had her name scrawled across the top in big black letters. He flicked it open. Harry, these documents show a lot of mismanagement. Wine. Harry, missing funds, misplaced resources, and here, the signatures. Your signatures. Wine, I do not claim any of this. It's not true. Harry. Oh, but it is. You see, I've already shown them to the board. They're furious. Of course. Embezzlement? Wine, that's serious. But you and I both know you're not actually guilty, are you? Wine stayed quiet for a moment. If he knew she was innocent, then it meant only one thing. He had an ulterior motive. Wine, Where are you getting with this? Harry, come on now. If you ask me like that, it makes me the bad guy. Only want to save you. Mine stay quiet, her patience running low, the file in front of her threatening her whole career. It wasn't about job. If it got out, it was going to ruin her completely. Harry, one night with me, and these will disappear. Fine. You made these up, didn't you? She grit her teeth, failing to keep her cool. Harry, like I said before, I just want to save you. Ryan took a deep breath. In her imagination, she had already slapped this man 100 times now. Wine, do whatever you want, she said, turned around and stormed out of the office. Wine's heels clicked furiously against the floor as she left the office. Her mind was in a haze of anger and fear. Outside, she paused for a moment, pressing her trembling hands to her lips. She knew how it looked. She knew how fragile her position was. If this got out, it wouldn't just be about losing her job, it would be about her reputation, her name, everything she had built shattered. She needed to collect proof to prove her innocence, but how? When the CEO himself was involved. She had no time. One call from him was going to end her. She barely noticed her colleagues giving her puzzled looks. What now? She tried to think about 100 possibilities. She heard police sirens. Every single thought in her mind replaced by one. Was she going to jail? Did Harry call the police already? The car stopped outside the building. Two men dressed up as officers stepped inside. The whole office stopped working. Mine pulled up a confident face regardless of how she was breaking from the inside, until she saw him, her husband, following behind the two officers, who looked every bit of the man her colleagues were scared of. He didn't spare anyone else a glance as he strode down the hallway straight to Harry's office. Without even knocking, he pushed the door open and walked in. Harry, Mr. John, to what do I owe? Jungkook, quit the crap. Where's the file? Harry, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Take it, the file with my wife's forged signatures. Placed a hand on the table. Jungkook, I heard every word, Harry. Every single one. And so did they. He stepped aside, letting the two men in suits enter. They flashed their badges. Mr. Harry, you're under investigation for blackmail, falsifying documents, and attempting coercion, one of them said. Harry, what are you talking about, officer? Someone else is the criminal here. Ryan watched as the officer stepped forward, pulling Harry's hands behind his back with swift, precise movements, not listening to a word he was saying. The entire office was dead silent, the tension a living thing. You have a right to hire an attorney, or remain silent. Everything will be used against you in the court, the policeman said while cuffing Harry. Harry, are you even listening to me? I said you are mistaking the criminal here. We have received proper proof against you, forging Miss Vine's signature in the reports as well. We're not mistaking the criminal, Mr. Harry. Harry yelled as he was dragged outside right before the eyes of the whole office. And Vine? She could only stand there and watch. One minute she was drawn in fear of her burning future, and the next moment it was all gone. Jungkook, are you okay? Vine, how did you check it? You forgot to cut the call. He held her hand and placed another on her cheek. Vine, I don't understand. Jungkook, I told you, I know how to protect what's mine. It wasn't too hard, collecting proof against the rotten. Vine closed her eyes in relief. How come she panicked like that? It was not so her. Her phone rang again. She immediately cleared her throat saying the name of the chairman. She thought she created enough trouble that it reached the chairman as well, but all she received from him was an apology and some kind words. Ryan, no way you talked to him as well. She asked as soon as she got the call. Jungkook shrugged. JK, that Harry is not going to step out anytime soon. I'm going to make sure of it. Ryan smiled gently, holding a hand. Relief slowly replacing all the worry she faced. Ryan, come on, let's meet my fellows. She held his arm and dragged him out. The way everyone immediately rushed back to their tables was hilarious. Ryan had never seen them do that even when their own boss appears before them. Ryan, guys, look who's here. Awkward silence before Sophia. I need some courage. Sophia, congratulations on your successful resolution. Jungkook nodded. That ass, a simple nod and that's all. Mark nearly glared at Ryan for putting them in this situation, but he was clearly afraid of the giant man. Ryan was clinching too. Jungkook, thank you for taking care of her. She always talks good about you people. We shall be taking our leave now. Have a good day. He took Ryan and leaving everybody there blinking at each other. What just happened? One, gosh, it scared them way too much. Jungkook was just standing there. One shook her head as she kissed his cheek. She was fine. That's right. As long as she was under his protection, she was fine.